In 1990, a group of researchers walked into a nursing home and asked the residents to start lifting weights. By the way, these weren't active, healthy seniors. The average age in the room was 90, and one man was 96. 8 weeks later, they tested everyone again, and their strength had gone up by 170%. Some of them had walked in needing help just to stand, and now they were doing it on their own. Now, we all kind of assume strength works one way. You're strong when you're young, you peak in your 20s, and after that, it slowly drains out of you every year until one day you can't even get off the floor. That's the story we've all been told, and half of it is true. You are getting weaker right now, even if you can't feel it yet. But those 90-year-olds prove the second half is a lie, because the strength never actually left. It was sitting there the whole time, just waiting for a reason to come back. And there's one exercise that gives it, at any age, better than anything else. But before I tell you what it is, you have to understand what we're even looking for. Because most exercises only do one job. A bicep curl builds your arms, a calf raise builds your calves. Useful, but small. But that's not what keeps you strong for life. What keeps you strong for life is the stuff that goes first. Think about what actually fails on an old body. It's not the arms. It's the grip, the hands that can't open a jar or hold a railing. It's the legs and hips, the ones that can't lift you off the floor or out of a chair. So the exercise we're looking for can't just hit one muscle. It has to hit all of that at once. And when you line up every exercise ever invented against that one test, almost all of them fall out. But what you're left with is one exercise that's been around forever that a 90-year-old can do and a 20-year-old can do it for the next 50 years. And it's the one people have been scared away from for all the wrong reasons. It's the deadlift. And I know, the deadlift is the exercise everyone's been warned about, the one that supposedly blows out your back, the one your doctor, your uncle, and some guy at the gym all told you to stay away from. Especially once you're older, and that's exactly the lie. Because the deadlift isn't some dangerous stunt, it's the most natural thing your body does. You bend down, you pick something up, you stand back up. You've done it your whole life. Every time you lift a kid off the floor or drag a full trash bag to the curb, you're deadlifting. The gym just put a name on it and added a bar, and when researchers actually studied it, the deadlift turned out to be one of the safest things you can do in a gym. When you deadlift, the weight starts on the floor, so if it ever gets too heavy, nothing bad happens, you just don't lift it. Compare that to a bench press, where a heavy bar can pin you to the bench, or a squat, where the weight is sitting on your back the whole time. With a deadlift, the worst case is that the bar simply stays on the ground. That's a big reason the injury numbers are so low. Hour for hour, deadlifting causes fewer injuries than playing soccer. The exercise everyone calls too dangerous for an old body is actually safer than the sport kids play at school. But the fear didn't come from the deadlift. It came from watching people do it wrong. A rounded back, a weight that's way too heavy, an ego that won't quit. That's not the deadlift failing. That's a person failing the deadlift. And there's a version that makes it almost impossible to get wrong. It's called the trap bar. Instead of standing behind the weight, you stand right in the middle of it. That one change keeps the load close to your body, takes the strain off your lower back, and still lets you lift heavy. When researchers compared it, people lifted more weight with the trap bar and put less stress on their spine doing it. It's so safe they've used it in the final stages of back rehab. So that's the exercise, and that's the version you want. Now, if you think this only works when you're young, there's a man named Joe Stockinger. He's 90 years old and he deadlifts over 400 pounds, not once as a stunt. He trains it. A 90-year-old picking up more than twice what most grown men can. And he's not some genetic freak. He started lifting a long time ago and just never stopped. That's the whole secret right there. His strength never left him because he never gave it a reason to, and he's not the only one either. There's a guy named Rudy Kadlub setting deadlift records in his 70s, and another named Sig Sandstrom, who didn't even start lifting until he was 70, pulling world record numbers by his 80s. Those 90-year-olds in the nursing home proved it in 8 weeks. So the next time someone says you're too old to start or too old to lift something heavy, they're wrong. So how do you actually do the exercise? I mean, it's simple, and that's the beauty of it. First, step into the middle of the trap bar. It's the one shaped like a hexagon, so instead of standing behind the weight, you stand right inside it with a handle on each side of you. That's the whole reason it's safer. The weight sits around you instead of out in front, so it can't pull you forward. Put your feet about shoulder width apart, roughly the stance you'd stand in normally. Now here's the important part. To reach the handles, don't squat straight down. Instead, push your hips backward, like you're reaching back to sit into a chair that's behind you. Your knees bend a little, but the movement comes from your hips going back, not from dropping down. So, reach down and grab both handles, and before you lift, take a breath and tighten your stomach like someone's about to poke you in the gut. That's what protects your back. Now stand up, push your feet down into the floor, and drive yourself up until you're standing completely straight and tall. That's it. That's 1 rep. To put it down, do the same thing in reverse. Push your hips back and lower the weight under control until it touches the floor again. That's the whole thing, and anyone can learn it in 5 minutes. Now, the most important rule. Start light, lighter than your ego wants. For the first couple of weeks, you're not trying to lift heavy. You're just teaching your body the movement so it becomes natural. Once it feels smooth and easy, add a small amount of weight, then a little more the week after. That slow, steady climb is the entire secret. You're not chasing a big number today, you're building something that lasts for decades. And you only need to do this once or twice a week. Trust me, that's plenty. You don't grind it every day because your body actually gets stronger while you rest, not while you're lifting. The lifting is just the signal. The rest is when the strength gets built. Now there's one more thing this exercise does. When you lift something heavy, you're not just building muscle and strength, you're also building bone at the same time. And that last one, the bone, is the piece almost everyone ignores. Let me tell you about a woman named Catherine Queen. In her 60s, a scan showed her bones were starting to thin out, the early stage of osteoporosis, the thing that leaves so many old people hunched over, breaking a hip from a simple fall. Her husband, who was a doctor, told her the same thing science says. Don't just take a pill, lift weights. So, she did. But she didn't start in her 60s. She actually started lifting seriously in her 80s. 80, an age where most people are told to sit down and be careful. And it didn't just slow the bone loss, it turned it around. And by 95, Catherine Queen was a world record deadlifter, pulling 100 pounds clean off the floor at 95 years old. Lifting heavy is one of the only things ever proven to actually build bone back, not just slow the loss, but rebuild it. When researchers put older women on a program of heavy lifting, including deadlift, their bone density went up. And Catherine proved that. Her advice, when people ask how she's still going strong near 100, just keep moving, don't sit on the couch. So that's it, one exercise. Not a complicated program, not a gym full of machines, just a bar off the floor and back down, a couple times a week. It trains everything that fades with age. Your grip, legs, back, even your bones, all at once. And it doesn't matter if you're 25 or 75. If you're young, this is how you keep the strength you've got. If you're older, this is how you build it back.